Welcome everyone to Taryn's Take On. I'm Taryn and I'm here to talk movies, television and film reviews with you. So today we are going to be talking about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. What an absolute epic of a film it is. Yeah, it's no surprise I love the film. Duh. Overall, I love the film. I thought it was an absolute feat in filmmaking. As expected from Christopher Nolan, he doesn't do anything the easy way. He always challenges himself, always challenges the cast members, always finds a new way to immerse us as the audience, and he's knocked out of the park by doing it in this film as well. Now, I love the film. However, I have one or two nitpicky bits to talk about. After that, smooth sailing, pun intended. The first thing I took slight issue with is that, typical of Christopher Nolan films, the sound is a character in and of itself, and it was brilliant. However, there were times when there was just a few moments where the instrumentals were just a little bit louder than the dialogue being spoken, but to the point where I kind of had to sort of give it one of those. What was that? Did you catch that? One of the major nitpicks I have, and it's not a big one considering the film is an absolute masterpiece regardless. I think the emotional beats of the movie didn't quite hit as they were intended to. That's not to say that the acting wasn't great. I think it was actually really good. And even the emotional beats of the movie that the actors were trying to portray, I think they did a really good job. I just think that the film itself could have maybe done a better job in setting that up for us as the audience. So when I see an emotional scene with Anne Hathaway, with Tom Holland, with Matt Damon, yeah, I'm in the moment and I'm understanding what's going on, but I'm not feeling it the same way as I did for Interstellar, for instance, which I think is still my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. It hits on every level, including the emotional parts of the film. I'm not one to get emotional in public very easily. However, when I watched that in the cinema, I was bawling my eyes out. Not afraid to admit it. Who cares? Hey, we're meant to feel things when we watch movies. And guess what? Your boy did. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it didn't have that level of emotional feel to it. And maybe that was by design. Maybe the story of the Odyssey is you got the main character, Odysseus, played by Matt Damon, who was brilliant in the role, on a mission to get home and to get back to his family. The only thing with that is it felt more like a mission, which, again, could be by design. Maybe he's meant to be portrayed as this leader in a leadership role. He needs to be strong. He needs to be mission-oriented. He needs to be focused. So perhaps that's all it was. Perhaps that was the actual point. He couldn't get emotional. He couldn't get too upset. He just had to get home. And that was it. Like I said, Anne Hathaway knocked it out of the park. She was really, really good at portraying this grieving wife, this mother who is trying to protect her son and protect her position by not taking on any suitors who are trying to just claim the throne from Odysseus. I just think that she was perfect casting. And to be honest with you, quite frankly, a lot of the cast members were. Tom Holland, I think, was really good. There's a point in the movie where you see the transition from boy to man in his character arc. I'm obviously not going to spoil anything here, but he has some responsibility later on in the film. The supporting cast were great. Robert Pattinson was outstanding. As usual, hey, guess what? He's not the guy from Twilight anymore. Get that out of your heads, please. Watch his movies that he's made since then and proving time and time again that he is not that Twilight boy anymore. Please. He plays a great antagonist in the story, and it's good seeing him go back and forth with Tom Holland, which I would say the majority of the scenes are with. So while you've got Odysseus and his family being played by Anne Hathaway in Penelope and Tom Holland in Telemachus, you've also got an amazing cast of characters here, and they're literally star-studded across the board. You've got Zendaya playing the role of Athena. She's not in lots of the film, but she's very good. You've obviously got Charlize Theron. Again, she's great. Again, not in the film for a long time. You've also got Lupita Nyong'o and you've got Elliot Page. There's been a lot of backlash over their casting in the film. Ridiculous in my opinion. I think they're both really good talents and do the film justice. Now, Elliot Page being in the movie, I think they did an outstanding job. They're only in the movie for a few minutes probably. However, an important few minutes at that. And I think that the way that their character was portrayed was actually really good. You've got the amazing John Bernthal playing Menelaus. He's obviously goated. I love John Bernthal in anything he's in. He gives his everything to any role that I see him in. Name one. Name one role that he's not been stellar in. He just carries such a weight to his performances, and he doesn't need to try that hard, or seemingly anyway. A shout out to John Leguizamo. I'm probably butchering his name, but he basically plays the character Emmaus, I believe it's pronounced. He is the sort of right-hand man to Odysseus, and he somewhat raises Telemachus in a way, or at least keeps an eye over him. Can we just talk about Himesh Patel for a minute? Because I feel like for the culture, he's just smashing it. And it's so good to see him in another Christopher Nolan movie after being in Tenet before this one. He's got a juicier role in this and he commands it really well. Most of his scenes are with Matt Damon and he holds his own, let me tell you. And also, it's really good to see Ryan Hurst in this movie. He plays the mentor to Telemachus, teaching him how to fight and whatnot. And fans of Ryan Hurst will have seen him in Sons of Anarchy, where he played Opie. That's probably where he stole a lot of hearts. And he does a good job in this. He's not in it for long, I will say that. It's not a big role. However, it's a role in a Christopher Nolan movie, which it's a massive deal. Also, just a side note, absolutely gutted that he's injured himself to the point where he can't continue in his role as Kratos in the God of War TV series. Wishing him a speedy recovery. Sounds like it's a painful one. Hopefully we can get to see him again soon in something else equally as good. We do need to talk about the positives of the sound being used in the movie. Ludwig did an amazing job forcing you into this world that you got no business being in, and automatically you're just there. The drums, the other instruments, the absolute orchestra that's taking place in front of your eyes and in your ears and in your soul. There's a scene of the sacking of Troy. I'm not going to go into detail, however, it's intense. And it's intense largely due to the soundtrack. That could not have been any better. And goes for the rest of the movie as well. Again, the soundtrack is another character in and of itself, if not the main character at times with Christopher Nolan movies. So, amazing. I think the way that Christopher Nolan handled the fantasy elements of the movie were brilliant. Considering it was all shot on location, practical effects, puppetry, all of that, it just makes you wonder that anything, quite literally anything is possible. Because I would not have thought you could make a gigantic Cyclops with puppetry and practical effects as good as how he has done it. And he continues to shock us. Brilliant, just brilliant. There's an important message in this movie, which is essentially do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think that's how the phrase goes. Essentially, the film is about the ramifications of not being honourable and what follows. The fact that Christopher Nolan shot this all in 70mm IMAX, honestly, you literally think you're there. I was fairly close to the screen, that also probably helped, but the whole screen was literally in my peripheral vision, and you know what? I was there for it. It was amazing. Christopher Nolan had no business making me believe that I was on this voyage with him and his men to get back home. I felt like I was one of the crew members, honestly. I was there rowing the friggin' boats. I was just there with it. Could feel the water and everything. Matt Damon's yelling, heave! And I'm just there like, ugh! Stupid. I love this movie. I highly recommend watching it. If you can, watch it in IMAX. If you can, watch it in 70mm. If you can't, just watch it. It's better than not seeing it at all. Honestly, bravo. And I think I would rate this film 4.5 out of 5. It's a near perfect film. There's just, like I said, just a few nitpicky bits. I started to feel the length of the film towards the end, but again, it's probably just because my legs started to ache. I think if my legs didn't start to hurt, I probably wouldn't even have that as one. So do with that what you will. That's what I thought of the movie. Let me know what you thought, and hey, have a good time. Thank you. Catch you later.